Welcome back to our second episode this week regarding Majora's Mask, where we have Pete and Jeremy fighting bare knuckles, fist to fist, bone
Fisticuffs.
and sinew, fisticuffs. There we go. About Majora's Mask. But before we get into our next topic, allow me to introduce to my left, we have the biggest Zelda fan in the world, Mr. Jeremy Bird, with his tattoo of the Triforce on his arm.
How we doing again? You're going down, bitch.
He said bitch.
Oh, it's
That means it's on. That means it's on.
Like Donkey Kong.
wrong series.
Okay.
Wrong game series.
Alright, we're done with that. And to my right, we have Mr. I'm Wondering himself. I stole that from Jeremy. Mr. Peter Anderson.
I'm not gonna talk shit. I'll back it up.
Oh yeah, Ziggler, nice job.
And I'm your host. With only the most fabulous ponytail in the business, yes, it is fabulous. Nick.
Nick.
Alright, so today we are discussing the content of Majora's Mask. Now, was the content enough? Was it too little? Was there something about it that just didn't feel right? Since Jeremy started the last one, Pete, you go. What are your thoughts on Majora's Mask's content?
Well, thank you again for tuning in to part 2, where I'm going to be destroying Jeremy. It's a real honor. I feel like I'm going for a presidential election. I'm talking to the people. Let me tell you what is up with this content. Let's start with easiness. The mask. Half of them did nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Nothing. Can you do that again? Half of them did nothing.
You're supposed to be having to do nothing. That's how you do it right.
If I wanted to, I go, the mask did absolutely... I'll get back to it, but half the mask did nothing. You want to play as Link, and you want to play with Sword and Shield, and you don't play as Link and Sword and Shield for some of the temples. When we continue...
Getting closer.
Getting closer. You son of a bitch. Like I said, we brought it up in the last video. The content, there's just nothing there. The dungeons, it's only 4 of them. There's nothing there. Let me tell you what's wrong with this stuff. Is you need content in a sequel. You need it to build better and greater things from the last game. And Ocarina of Time was such a high point in people's lives and regarded as one of the best games ever made. The Majora's Mask, to some people like it, and yes, it's a different world, it's a different experience, but it's something where this sequel is not living up at all to it because of these content that I will get into after I am done, but why this game falls with content. But please, what is your rebuttal?
Alright, Jeremy.
This game is filled to, like I said in the last episode, it's small, the world is small in scope, but it's filled to the brim with content. The different characters get you so engaged in this game. Let me put one little kibosh on something. You start out Majora's Mask. You're riding Epona. The fairies scare Epona. Link gets knocked unconscious. Skull Kid grabs the ocarina. He steals Epona and runs into Termina. He chases after Skull Kid. He ends up in Termina and realizes, okay, I need to get the Ocarina of Time back. He gets the Ocarina of Time back and realizes that the moon's falling and it's going to destroy this new world. Link does what any hero does. Save the fucking world! That's what happens. That's how you start a good game with content. Here's the other thing. The game, you're saying, oh, Sword and Shield fighting. They decided to go with new abilities over items. They said, just give him all the regular items. Give him the bow, give him the bomb, give him the bomb chew, give him all the adult weapons, and we'll give him new abilities with the Giant's Mask, the Goron Mask, the Zora Mask, and the Fierce Deity's Mask. That's what the main premise is of that. Yes, it's...
Out of 24?
24, but I know they they don't do much.
That's 20% of the masks that do something.
Stone Mask, enemies don't see. The Goron Mask lets you get in. I gotta think more. The Bunny Hood makes you run faster. Oh yeah, it doesn't do anything. The Postman, you gotta keep talking. Epona?
You have Epona, why do you need a bunny mask?
What?
Exactly.
No, you already said.
Why do you need a pony mask if you have a pony?
There is no pony mask.
No, the bunny...
The Bunny Hood?
Why do you need
the bunny hood?
Yeah.
When you have a Pona.
Alternate means of travel.
That's such a corny answer.
No, the alternate means of travel. What do you really want to get travel around that place? You travel by Goron, you can travel by running backwards, you can travel by the Bunny Hood, or you can travel by Epona.
Continue.
You're really gonna shit on this game because of the content. Not you.
It's bad when me and Nick agree.
But
really-
hold on, wait. As an observer, I have to say that what you're talking about to me is not content, but is story. There's a difference.
I get
feel
where
story
he's
and
coming
content
from.
go
No, and the one time we will agree. I understand where he's coming with content, just fill in the story and everything like that. But when you think content and you think what's in the game, what does it deliver?
What can you do? What can you...
There's no doubt. It's a great. I enjoyed the opening. I did enjoy it. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go into this world. It's gonna be fantastic. I was so excited for Majora's Mask, and you cannot deny that. You knew when we were going to Evo, I was like, I'm gonna play this game. I'm gonna enjoy the hell out of it. It's something different, something new. So I can't wait to become fierce deity,
Deity Mask.
and just
Link.
raise hell. But it's. We'll get into it. But finish your thought process.
I just feel like content, what you can do in the game and with the story combined with it, I think it's just perfect. How engrossed you get in the game.
So then what can you do in this game? Because I feel like Pete's telling me what you can't do in this game, and you haven't said what I can do in this game.
You can turn into... Stop making him do things.
No, don't worry. I
No, I'm
have
busting
the
your
whole
chops.
But you know what I'm saying? I feel like this conversation has been Pete telling me, well, you don't get this, and you don't get that, and you can't do this, and you can't do that. And you're just like, oh, but the story and the moon's falling.
No, the whole thing is literally, in this game, like I said, it's abilities over items. You can turn into Dekus, Gorons, and Zoros. Basically, you can travel through the forest, you can turn into a Goron, which is a big rock monster, and turn into a big spike ball and travel fast that way. You can survive cold with that.
Using magic.
Yeah, magic's a good thing. You also can turn into a Zoro, which is their water creature, and actually swim through the oceans of Termina, which you don't get to do in any other game. Yes, in Ocarina of Time, you do have the iron boots, and you can walk around. This one, you actually can swim around, dive, and actually battle different creatures for once.
Is that your opening statement? Would you have to add anything before I go into my counterfeit?
Counterfeit?
Counterfeit? You faking stuff now?
No, I don't have anything to add.
Okay, let me explain something. The mask. Most of them did absolutely nothing. What did they use for? To get a piece of heart. For the completionist, that's great. For somebody who just is like, oh, this mask got to be cool. You have 5 transformation masks in total. You have the Fierce Deity, you have...
Deity, not DDD.
You gonna argue with me? The Deku, the Goron, the Zora, and the Stone Mask.
Giant's Mask, yeah.
The Giant's Mask. So, number 1, the Giant's Mask was just an interesting concept, but it felt like the game was rushed in the beginning, like I said, except for the Stone Temple, where they had the transformation mask where you turned into Giant Link, where he just looked like a fucking gorilla pouncing around. It had the most visual appealing thing with going and doing, switching and going and doing and getting the straight fairies. That showed initiative. But what you want to play when you play a Zelda game is you want to play as Link, the hero of time, sword and shield in hand. Whether it be the baby sword, the master sword, whatever sword.
I just don't know if you said that, though.
It is a baby sword.
But here's what I'm going to disagree with you on that point. The big problem I have with Ocarina of Time, I know that, okay, you play as adult Link for most of the game. This is the game that gives you the chance to play as young Link. And if you didn't have this game...
Wind Waker, which was a far better game than that.
Let me ask you this. You can say Wind Waker is better, but... You played Melee, right? Smash Bros. Melee. If you didn't have this game, you wouldn't have young Link in that game, who I love in Melee.
Okay, you would have Toon Link.
I'd rather have young Link. I literally think young Link...
It's the same friggin' person.
No, it's not. 2 different characters, 2 different generations, 2 different games.
Do you feel like Wind Waker is better than Ocarina? Is better than Majora's Mask?
It's...
Be honest. Do you think that Wind Waker is better than Majora's Mask?
I can agree with that only because one reason. You could say that game is a true sequel to Ocarina of Time.
Which one?
The
Wind Waker. Here's what I'll tell you. My friend showed me this years ago. He tells me load up Wind Waker. So I load up. I put the map on screen. He then takes my... What?
Yeah.
Okay, so I put the Wind Waker map up. My buddy opens up my...
Oh, you told me this story.
Yeah, open up my Ocarina of Time map. He puts it right on top of it. And if you look where everything is, the Temple of Time, the Lon Lon Ranch, everything, Death Mountain fits perfectly. Literally, if you think continuity-wise, Wind Waker is Hyrule, but literally thousands upon thousands of years in the future because it's all covered in water. That's the only reason why I would say it's better than Majora's Mask, because that could be the true sequel to it.
Yeah, but then you're showing that, you get to play as young Link, but it was young Link in what it should have been. In Wind Waker, you get the Master Sword. You fight Ganon. When you think of Mario, you don't think of Birdman from Super Mario Brothers 2. You don't think him as the main.
Birdo.
You think of Bowser.
Yeah.
And you play Bowser. So when you think of Zelda, you think of Ganon.
Yeah, but here's the problem. When Wind Waker came out, everybody shit on it. Every single person who said, "Oh, I don't want to play Wind Waker. It's childish. It looks terrible. It's all cell shaded. We want adult Link. We want like this big battle sequence." And if you actually play Wind Waker, you get one of the best stories in Zelda history.
It's probably if not, probably my favorite Zelda.
Did you play the HD version? Or the
Of course.
I played the regular, but...
Yeah.
Why are we talking about Wind Waker? So it's all about Majora's
No,
Mask.
but I'm just saying that's what you do. That's the problem with Twilight Princess. Just to bring another option
I like
up.
Twilight Princess. I
The
played
wolf.
it twice.
You play as a wolf.
That's where they got the inspiration from. Majora's Mask gave the transformations to Twilight Princess.
Once it's like, okay, the wolf would have been cool a couple of times. But after you play a number of times, you're like, no, I want to be badass Link with my Master Sword, being an adult,
I want to ride a
kicking
pony.
ass.
Yep.
That's what you want to do. You don't want to be a wolf. So when you say you want to play as Link, these transformation masks, yeah, they're cool. They're a cool concept, don't get me wrong. But it's not why you want to play a Zelda game. At the end, you can, honestly, let's look at it this way. You don't even have to play any of the bosses as Link. Because you can fight him as the Deku Scrub. You can fight him as Goron in the temple, the dungeon.
The Snow White Temple.
You can play with Zora in the Water Temple. You can play as Giant Link. Well, you have to in...
Little known fact, once you get the Giant Mask, you can play as the Giant Link in any other temple boss. Little thing a lot of people don't know.
Yeah, but, okay, so you play as Giant Link in the Stone Temple. And then if you collect all the masks, you get to be the Fierce against...
Majora.
Against Majora. Which is just a cheap way of winning. Because you do a couple light slashes and you're done.
I've beaten it both ways, and I think...
Well, when I did it, I was like, no, I'm not going to... I went and I completed it 100% like everybody else
You did it with the light arrows.
What's up?
You're supposed to beat him with the light arrows.
Yeah.
Yep.
I ended up doing it as regular Link where I came in and, took me longer. But then I went back and played as the Fierce, and it took me 20 seconds when the battle actually took me 3 minutes. So for somebody not knowing that content, they're going to walk into that boss and just go boom, boom, boom. That brings me to when I played BioShock, the original BioShock, where they're like, you got to load up, it's the final boss, things are going to go down. I don't know if you ever played BioShock. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to get all my weapons. Everything's going to be stacked to the brim. I'm fully equipped. I go in and I killed him in 20 seconds, 15, 20 seconds. And I was like, all that build up for a disappointing last boss.
Yeah, your last boss has to be phenomenal. Your last boss has to be difficult. Your last boss... I've always been the type to load up and just load up everything so that then my last boss fight was as easy as possible.
But still a challenge.
But as easy as it could be.
Yeah.
Right? And every single time, in all the great games that I've played, every single time it's always come down to the wire where I have like one more arrow left. My health is like this close, and I've done it, and I've succeeded.
And that relief.
So, and it's that relief, but it always comes to like that last little bit of what I have left. So when you tell me that a boss fight was 3 slashes on your most amped up version of the character, then that's not a boss fight in that game. That seems like a glitch.
Look at Ocarina of Time, because that's also what this is based off of. When you face Ganondorf in the temple, you have that little ping pong match.
I don't like that fight.
But you have that ping pong match, then you escape, then you have to face Ganon, who's just this behemoth, where you're just like, the Master Sword flies off, and you have to use your...
You can use the hammer, you can use the big Goron sword.
Yeah, the Goron sword. And then you have this epic fight where you're just like, I don't know if I'm going to win this. And it's just that awesome feeling where I'm like, okay, roll this. When I was faced him, I knew that the Fierce was overmatched. Totally one-sided victory, So when I decided to go with Young Link, it added a challenge, but it wasn't something where the content wasn't there for a Zelda final boss. It didn't give me that holy Christmas. And Ocarina and Wind Waker, like I said, you had that spider boss We had the snake of Ganon, you know?
Oh, yeah,
just
yeah,
to prequel that. And then you go and actually face Ganon, and there's that huge moment, which is still one of my favorite ways, where he just crashes the
Master Sword by
Master into the head, and he's stone, and he turns to stone. I went to my mom, and I was like, wow, that was incredible, because it's something where...
What are you talking about, hon?
Yeah. For a better example, I just finished The Wonderful 101. I was playing it, I finally got to it. People knew who I was going to be playing it. And it was alright. It wasn't the best game I've ever played. But then they got to the ending, where it was just this humongous ending where people know I rate my games 1 to 10. I was willing and able to give this game a 6. But the ending was so good with that final boss and just the craziness and all the over-the-top stuff that I ended up giving it a 7.5. The ending alone made the game. And for me to go in and face the end of Majora's Mask, to not have that fight with experience like Ganon, it was disappointing. And like I said, with the mask, there was just nothing there. You had the mask just to throw on, the couple's mask. Okay, you threw on the couple's mask, everybody's happy. Okay, you got a piece of art. Okay, that mask is garbage now. When are you ever going to wear it again?
Never, because...
exactly.
I forget exactly what it does.
You know, it would have been cool if some of them transform... like, the bunny hood. Yeah, was I using the bunny hood a lot because it's the different ways of traversal? Of course. But in retrospect, you put on a bunny hood, that's it. You had 3 main transformations. The 3 main ones, if you really think about it. You know, but some of these other ones, like, yeah, the stone, you know, you're not seeing. You know, the other one where, you know, there's these different varieties of them. But for the most part, half the masks did nothing. And for you playing Majora the first time, you're like, okay, when am I going to use the postman mask?
You would have used it just to get a heart piece out of the mailbox. That's all.
That's it. But like,
it's because someone was a fanboy of the Postman in Ocarina of Time, and that's the whole reason you got.
But
that.
yeah, but still, it's like when you say Majora's Mask, the mask, the lens of truth, the mask of truth.
Yeah.
You know, when you had that dog race, that was the cool concept. I was like, man, the cover of the game has the mask in his hand. He's about to put it on.
So the original just has just the cover title.
But you see him putting out, I'm like, oh, he's going to transfer into this awesome being. And then it's like, oh, I feel confident I'm going to win the race today. Okay, dog, I'll pick you.
I was laughing at that. Oh, my stomach hurts.
But is that content, that doesn't bring, like, when you think content and you think Majora's Mask, you think, oh, there's good. And then the title of the game is Majora's Mask, and you never get to even put on the mask.
You're not supposed to put it on.
Yeah, but still. It's so you could say that about the Fierce Mask too. They said it's just as evil as Majora's Mask.
Because here's the thing: how many times have you played this game?
Once.
One timer versus a person who's played it many times.
That one time should have made me feel like I want to play it numerous times. I've played Ocarina of Time numerous times because I felt, what a game experience. I want to play it again.
So I played
Octodad. I just did a Let's Play on it. I want to play that again because I'm like, oh, that was just a different experience. Majora's Mask, I just felt it was like, you know, after playing Wind Waker, which probably was my mistake, I played Wind Waker before I played Majora's Mask, but I feel like Wind Waker, I'm like, this is the young kid Link I like. The Toon Link, yeah, young Link, Toon Link, different people, but same premise. And I'm like, man, I enjoyed Wind Waker just because it gave me that full ambiance of everything you expect of a Zelda game. The content was there for Wind Waker, which is the direct sequel after Majora's Mask, if I'm correct. In retrospective Zelda games, Wind Waker came right after Majora's Mask.
2001 that came out.
So that's why people were
pissed. It came out
pissed.
2 years later.
That's why people were pissed. You had Young Link in Majora's Mask, and then you had Young Link again. Or Toon Link, whatever you want to call it.
Originally they teased a full adult Link for to look like something in Twilight Princess, and then they decided, oh, let's go with the cell shade, and they released Wind Waker.
Yeah,
that's
but
why
that's why people were mad, because 2 games of Young Link, when they had Ocarina of Time, where you played as adult Link, and you felt badass. So it just... I know we're straying away from the content, but it's just... You want to play as Link with the sword and shield. You don't want to play as these transformations. Are they good stories, though? When, I'm trying to remember the Zoro character who was part of the band.
I know, I can't think of his name.
But
he dies.
He dies, and I'm like, damn, that's really dark for a Zelda game.
Darmani dies, who's the Goron, and the Deku is the butler's son. He's dead too.
Like, it's a darker game, which is a cool aspect for Zelda.
That's the thing. You know why the Fierce Deity Mask is so evil? Because it's all the people that Majora's Mask has killed and or died through.
Yeah, because of the white eyes.
Yeah, and they infest that mask, and they literally said, all right, we're going to give you this mask to fight evil with evil. And that's why Link looks so beefed up and just like a darker version of him.
So what do you disagree with me that with the content with the mask should have done more than just get a piece of heart?
No.
Your game is called Majora's Mask, Ocarina of Time. You know what the game was based off of? The Ocarina, which was a major factor in the game.
And it sounds
Wind
like it had
Waker.
more masks.
No, it didn't.
Didn't it?
No.
Weren't you guys talking about masks?
Yeah,
About
in
Ocarina of
Ocarina of Time, they did have some masks, but they were just like, it was like you had to go through a side quest, use this mask,
So
give it to
5
this
of
person.
25, where did that come from?
That's where you can transform.
Yeah, you have 5 transformation masks.
And then
in
the
this
rest, like I said,
And then the rest are just
let's ask you, does this look like a badass mask?
Yeah.
When you put this on, you're like, man, I'm gonna be something awesome, and you freaking see which dog wants to feels
You
the
use
most
it to talk to
confident.
the stones, too.
Yeah, but for a piece of heart, another piece of heart, you don't do it where it's a transformation where it's like, okay, I'm gonna go and fight these guys. You know, it doesn't bring up that escalation which you feel that it's just like, oh. And you know what else would piss me off about this game? That little fucking Riddler looking thing that kept appearing where you hit him and then he went from spot to spot. I can't think of his name. The sub boss that you always kept fighting because you would attack him and then he go whoo, and then he would make holograms of himself and he would go back to himself.
Oh, the wizard thing?
The wizard.
Yeah.
You faced that 1,000 times.
Yep.
When in other games you faced an enemy once where you're like, damn, that was a cool enemy. The problem with the Wizro was his name. The problem with him was you kept facing him every fucking time. You kept facing this goddamn boss and you're just a sub boss and you're just like, I do admit some of the bosses were cool. I did enjoy the Twin Snakes. I did enjoy the Goron boss.
Oh, Goth.
You know,
Originally
I
called
did.
Goat.
I didn't enjoy like the boss. I said, man, these are some great boss battles. Except for the fish, I hated the fucking fish.
Oh, Gryarg?
Right. I hated that. But like for content, like
I can believe, because let me put this because you don't shut the fuck up.
Oh.
So here's the deal. You've been going on for fucking minutes about this, that, these, and those. It's a first-time player versus a guy who's played 1,000,000 times. First time playing the game, I said, same thing as you. Meh, it's a good game, but it doesn't really hold up to Ocarina of Time. I played the game again and again and again, and I just fell in love with the content and the story of it. To help Cafe and his girlfriend find each other, to get that couple's mess, just to give them a happy ending, and that got to me. The fact that, Woody, you look at this game, and all these people die because it's not supposed to be the happy world of fucking Hyrule. Just to Woody...
Well, Hyrule wasn't very happy. But...
Yeah, at times, because again, it fucks everything up. But literally, it's just to go to a different world, to like find out you have the story with the band, you have to save the Zora eggs to help them to help the girl to get into the temple, to get into the water temple. The fact that like you're wearing the mask of someone's dead son, the Deku Shrub's butler, to find that out during the game almost killed me because I remember at the beginning of the game you float through and you see this wooden little tree with a face and you look at it and it says, oh, it seems like it's crying. Very end of the game you find out that the Deku butler's son died and that's him there at the beginning of the game. That hurt. The fact that you have all these different stories going through all the same time, all these different events, I feel that the content's there in the game. I know you seem like it's a short game, but I feel the content is there to back up the game. I think for what it was, a rushed out 1-year game, just from how like you can do all the different abilities, and yes, even though a lot of the masks were like, oh, we're gonna use this just to get heart pieces. I just feel, okay, cool. Like I can do this. The Gibdo mask, which is the mummy looking mask, just to turn to get into the place, to also.
So they dance.
Huh?
The guys dance, right?
Yep. The Song of Healing, to help the father who's mummified. That was another really small story that was kind of pushed to the side. I'll let you have that one. But just how and the ghosts what's it? Romani Ranch. Sorry, Romani Ranch. To say
Romani Ranch.
Romani Ranch. Thank you. That was tough.
Yeah.
Because like that whole backstory, you just bullshit me. The whole backstory of that, how like, if you don't save Marin and everyone, that you just lose her during the game. That was another point. I feel the story and the content just work together.
May I ask you one thing?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say, do you think this needed a walkthrough / strategy guide to play this game because of just how dense you're saying this game was with all the different times and everything and all this different stuff?
Nah, I don't think so. You can look it up. Like literally, they changed a couple of things from the 3D versus the regular version, but not enough to me to like warrant a full like collector's brick guide that they did put out.
But would you use it for other Zelda games? Like a strategy guide walkthrough? Do you think other Zelda games need it?
Some do.
But you don't think Majora's Mask needs it?
No, I think it's contained enough to where you can figure stuff out.
See, I don't agree with that. I think there's so much content in that regards of different times and different places you have to be at certain times where it gets so...
That's what the Bomber's Notebook is for. It tells you...
Yeah, but in the N64 it didn't have little freaking, okay, this is the time. Really?
It would be...
Because from what I hear, you didn't have any.
No, you did. Literally, it tells you... Literally, it would be like, here's this person's story and here's their timeline, and if you didn't complete it, it would put a nice big X, and then you have to redo, like, alright, I gotta do this, to do this, to do this, to do this.
Final thought. When we run this into the ground.
Yeah. The content's there. I just think you need to replay the game again and give it another shot.
I think that when you think of content, you want to play as Link, sword and shield in hand.
I can't wrap my head around...
Your hand? Or
yeah, whatever.
My dick.
I can't wrap my head around what this game is. Sitting here listening to you guys. Because it sounds like one of you is talking about the stuff that's going on in the world, and the other one is talking about the things that you're doing in the world. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
Right? Because it sounds like you're exploring a lot of the story, and you're going around and you're talking to all these people that are in the world of Termina. I was gonna say Tamriel because I'm a Skyrim guy.
I called it Termina at first. I couldn't pronounce it right.
So you're going around. You're exploring all the people that are in Termina.
Yeah.
Termina.
Think terminal without the AL.
Okay. Talking to all the people that are in Termina and finding out their backstories, whereas Pete is going around and he's fighting enemies. Now I understand where both people would have an interesting time. My problem is that I'm not really getting much in the way of gameplay from you. You get what I'm saying? I'm getting a lot of story, but it's a video game first before it's a story. So to me, and again, and I know I'm not supposed to call it yet, but to me, I'm siding more on the side with Pete because I'm finding that he's talking to me about how to fight and how to play the game, how to beat the enemies in the game, and what it is that you actually have to deal with in playing the game. Whereas I'm getting a lot of backstory from you.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right. But that's my way of playing. You might be, and there's a lot of gamers out there that might be the types that are Easter egg hunters and like to play those parts of it.
It's not that we're stabbing each other in the throat. From our fans, a lot of people will agree with Jeremy. A lot of people will agree with me.
Yeah.
It's how you do it. I agree with Jeremy in some regards, and he agrees with me in some regards. I feel the story is there. It's a different take on Zelda. The story is there. It's cool. It's just when you have the content, I don't feel it's there because
I feel it is.
Yeah, of course. But in my regards, like I said at the end, you have Majora's Mask. You have the mask. You want to be able to do something with all 24 masks. And to only have 5 transformation masks and have some little throwaways, because that's really what they are, throwaways to get heart pieces. You know, if you called... Twilight Princess. There's a reason why Zelda was called Twilight Princess. There was a reason why Ocarina of Time is called Ocarina of Time. Link Between Worlds. There's a reason why it was called Link Between Worlds. Triforce Heroes that are coming out because you have 3 heroes. There's reasons why. So when you think Majora's Mask, the game in a way is bigger than Majora's Mask. Like it should have been like Zelda. Like another title where it would have been like. And it upsets me because, like I said, firsthand I wanted to enjoy this game, but we'll get into it because we still have one topic, so take it away.
Well, what are your final thoughts on it?
The full content, how like I said, that you have its abilities over items versus you're not going in there sword to shield to kill enemies. You're using the different weapons, the different abilities. Like the Goron punches and the spin attack. You have the boomerang blades from the Zora.
Which was cool. I give you that.
And then you have the petal flowers and the friggin' bubble shots from the Deku. I just think with how those abilities work with the content of the game, I think it works really well.
All right, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. There is our second part. We don't shake hands yet. All right? We still have a third part,
Fuck
motherfuckers.
you, motherfucker.
still have a third part, you son of bitches. Get back in your corners, all right?
Yes,
Round 2.
So there we go. We have our second part, and that was all about the content of Majora's Mask.
We guarantee
Now-
next week we'll have shorter episodes. Sorry.
Well, I feel like content had to be this long.
Well, I think all
'cause
of them have to be kind of long because you guys really want to kill each other. So it's absolutely fine. Next week we are going to talk about whether or not this is. Next episode we're going to talk about whether or not this game, Majora's Mask, is a worthy sequel to Ocarina of Time.
And here comes Pete with their bullshit.
So be sure to tune in at youtube.com/improv gaming, where we're going to talk about on Friday whether or not Majora's Mask is a worthy sequel. And as always, game on. Sorry, you're right, sir.
What? Am I right?